It's 1999. You just bought your first ever console, a PlayStation 1. You have plenty of games: Resident Evil 3, Final Fantasy 8, Tony Hawk, but one especially catches your eyes: Silent Hill. When Silent Hill was launched, many people were wondering who in there came up with this genius idea. Well, let's go back a few years back. The idea of Silent Hill wasn't from the developers team. It was from the corporate team of Konami, Keiichiro Toyama, who is responsible of writing and direct the making of Silent Hill 1. He was willing to put everything into this project. The first decision that Keiichiro used was not using developers that had made famous games like Resident Evil and Tony Hawk. He was choosing instead amateur developers that barely participates in the creation of any game. By hearing this, the developers team, conformed by 20 members, were shocked, since making a game with only 20 noob developers sounded insane. Most of them almost quit during the process, and most of them implying that this will be the first and last game they will produce, which wasn't. The team will be baptized as Team Silent. The first idea with the making of Silent Hill was a survival horror. Developer says that the instruction was just make a survival horror game. That's all the instruction they were given. Keiichiro also mentions that in that time he was almost concluding with his designer career, but Konami decided that they will start all over again with new employees. It was around that time when Konami was making the change from 2D to 3D. Keiichiro says that he is not a horror movies enjoyer. He was lost when Konami told him to make a survival horror game, but after analyzing a few movies, he understands what type of horror people will like. This was modern horror. Silent Hill 1 was inspired by several American films and authors, including Jacob Slater, Stephen King's work, and David Lynch's style, creating a cerebral horror experience. The game also drew from literary sources like The Wizard of Oz and Alice in Wonderland, featuring numerous thematic and direct references. Artistic influences include the hellscape of Hieronymus Bosch. The setting of a small, foggy town was also inspired by American culture. Keiichiro also mentions that cult movies from the 70s and sci movies from the 50s had also a huge influence in the making of Silent Hill in general. We want to make the player feel like the world of Silent Hill is real, mentions Keiichiro. Silent Hill used limitations on its favor, making advantage of the dark and fog to create mystery and suspense, and so high technical details. The camera angle, dark, and fog couldn't be made pre-rendered. The team wanted to take leverage on the polygons moving in real time. He also mentions that he would like it more if the game came out more realistic. Shattered glasses, bullet holes seen through, but the limitations back then prevent this. They were so focused on the game's story that they didn't put that much of a lore for the characters. The inspiration to create the enemies was by Masahiro Ito. He replies that he didn't like making this type of art, but in Silent Hill, all his style and will came out by making them. Japanese horror comics was one of the inspirations, but also the art of the British Francis Bacon, using the anatomy of the human body and fleshy cell represented on his paintings. In later versions of Silent Hill, they changed most of the monsters, but do you know why? If you do, good for you. But in case not, the reason why they changed it was once more because of the limitations back then. We can take the example of the version of Silent Hill that many people don't know about. It came out in 2009 and it was only out for 2 days. I bet you didn't know that. The reason was because the limitations could see through. And what do I mean with this? Remember when I said that the designers used limitation of disfavor with the dark and fog? Well, that was the issue. This is only one of many examples.
The design team envisioned a Hollywood-like atmosphere, and the team drew influence from a wide range of sources, including various exponents of the psychological horror genre, various factions of other teams and mythic games, and directors like David Lynch took huge inspiration in the making of Silent Hill music. Yamaoka in particular drew heavy inspiration from Angelo Badalamenti, who worked extensively with Lynch on the score for the show Twin Peaks, as well as the related films like Fire Walk with Me and some of Lynch's other projects, including Blue Velvet and Mulholland Drive. Harry Mason drives to the mysterious town of Silent Hill with his adopted daughter, Cheryl. On the way, he strives to avoid a girl on the road, crashes his car, and wakes up to find Cheryl missing. The town is covered in fog and ash, eerily deserted. As Harry searches for Cheryl, he encounters strange monsters and shifting realities, a foggy version of the town and a dark, rusted, nightmarish version. He meets a few key characters: Sybil Bennett, a police officer who tries to help him; Zaya Gillespie, a strange woman who talks about a ritual and the other; Dr. Michael Kaufman, a doctor from the town's hospital who knows more than he admits; Lisa Garland, a nurse who's kind but confused, slowly realizing she's trapped in a nightmare. Harry discovers that Cheryl is actually part of a girl named Lisa Gillespie, who was used in a cult ritual to bury the god. The ritual failed, leaving Alyssa horrible, burnt, and comatose. Years later, her soul split. One half became Cheryl, who was adopted by Harry. Now the cult wants to reunite both halves to complete the ritual. Harry confronts Dahlia, who manipulates Evans to summon the god using Alyssa's pain and Cheryl's soul. Depending on the player's choices, there are several endings, but in the good ending, Harry defeats the demonic god. Alyssa, dying, gives him a new baby, the reincarnation of herself and Cheryl, and he escapes the town with the child as Silent Hill fades behind him. This is a true ending, later confirmed as canon in Silent Hill 3. The baby Harry carries becomes Heather Mason, the protagonist of Silent Hill 3. Symbolically, it's about rebirth, closure, and the cycle of trauma breaking. Alyssa is reborn without pain, and Harry gets a second chance at fatherhood. Represents personal victory mixed with loss. Harry saves Cheryl's souls but loses everyone else. He defeats the evil and escapes, but the cost emphasizes the sacrifice made to overcome trauma. Symbolically shows that love alone isn't enough to overcome corruption or evil without understanding the truth. This ending is grim but psychologically fascinating. It implies that Silent Hill was never real. It was Harry's purgatory, a mental nightmare as he dies. The themes to explore are denial, grief, and the futility of escaping death. Pure comedy. It became a tradition in the Silent Hill series, where each game has a weird or silly joke ending. It's a playful reward for players who explore deeply or replay the game. Before this, most horror games like Resident Evil focus on monsters and gore. Silent Hill introduced emotional, atmospheric fear, dread born from sound, story, and ambiguity. The thick fog, originally a PS1 hardware limitation, became iconic, creating tension through what you can see. Akira Yamaoka's soundtrack and ambient noise revolutionized sound-based horror. The story left things open to interpretation, moral ambiguity, psychological layers, unrelievable reality, inspiring games like Alan Wake, Silent Hill 2, The Last of Us, and Control. Without Silent Hill, later narrative-driven horror games, for example, Fatal Frame, Amnesia, Layers of Fear, and PT, wouldn't exist in the same. It showed that a video game could make players feel emotions other than fear, sadness, empathy, guilt, even existential dread. Besides all the psychological horror, the story, and monsters, Silent Hill is more deep than we think. It's a story about facing fears, about facing traumas and guilt. That's why in Silent Hill, if you try to live, you just can't. You have to face your fears, everything that once carried a heavy load in you. Silent Hill is just a representative of the real world, on how this world works. Cheryl is that part of us that was once split or vanished. The game represents Cheryl as a second chance, as a hope to fight to cling to, but actually, the main enemy in Silent Hill isn't the monsters or the cold god. It's time.